What up? It's your boy Nick Incredible Man, and yes, I am back at it again. And as from this giddy smile on my face, you can tell that 911 Lone Star is back, man. This is season 3, episode 1 review, The Big Chill. You guys feel that? Let's talk about it, man.
Yo, fight until you make it, yo, don't think it, no, just take it. Don't wait for someone to break it, take control, then don't just fake it, hey. You can make it happen, you just gotta take some action. Take the ship and be the captain.
911 Lone Star is back. And in true 911 fashion, they came in with a big major disaster, which just so happens to be like a big blizzard and snowstorm taking place in Texas. And it's like covering everything. And I love it. I love it so much, man. Now, 911, the OG series, it does its own thing, you know, with the big disasters at the start of every season. But it's just 911 Lone Star, I don't want to say it outdoes 911, but it keeps 911 on its toes, if you will. Like 911 Lone Star makes sure 911, you know, steps his game up every season, you know, because like, hey, if you don't, not, we're coming, you know, and that's what 911 Lone Star does, and it does it very, very well, because every time when they do like their big massive you know, things, disaster that takes place, it's always like over the top, but it's not too over the top to where it's, you know, like, well, no, it's just in between there to where you're like, oh, okay, because 911 does it great. But then 911 Lone Star comes in and pushes that boundary just a little bit more. Like they have a little bit more wiggle room to play with 911 Lone Star. So it doesn't really seem, I don't want to say like not as realistic, but it gives it just enough breathing room to where it could possibly take place. You know what I'm saying? You know, same thing with 911, but 911 Lone Star feels like they have a little bit more liberties to play with. I am so excited, man. The only downfall I had about this, and that's probably going to be the trend of season 3, I don't like that the 126 isn't together. I don't like everybody spread out and pushed afar, and nobody's really communicating with each other. I don't like this at all, man. 911 Lone Star brings a different feel to it compared to 911. Now, for me, it feels like 911 Lone Star has just a smidget more comedy, if you will. Like, I don't think that's what they're trying for, but like just a lot of the comedy-esque kind of just oozes out of 911 Lone Star compared to the original series. And I love that. It gives it just a little bit more liberties to play with. And it's fun, it's enjoyable, and you fall in love with these characters. But I don't like everybody just being sprawled out. It's just not working for me, man. We have Marjan out here is the only one that's trying to save the building for the 126, because everybody seems to have just kind of just, not, I don't want to say given up, but like they've kind of let the reality of it sink in that, you know, where there's nothing else that we can actually really do. Because we see at the beginning of this episode, they kind of just gave us that brief flashback as to what happened with Owen punching Billy, which was well deserved, but realizing that, you know, it's going to be destroyed and everybody's still just kind of scattered, and I'm not loving that, man. But we see Marjan's the only one that's trying to really fight for the building. We see that Owen is out here doing his whole wild man thing, growing a beard and chopping down wood. TK, Nancy, and Captain Vega are working for a private paramedic company, and I'm not feeling it, man. Carlos and TK broke up. Paul and Judd are doing their own thing at the fireplace. Chavez is doing Mateo, he's doing his own thing at the other fireplace where the dude almost died from the dust and everything. I don't like it. The 126 needs to be together with everybody spread out. I will admit, with everybody spread out like this, it'll give us a lot more in-depth going on throughout this entire season, because even in this episode alone, we see that with everybody kind of, I don't want to say not being as connected, but not just really being together like they were before. We see a bunch of different storylines going on, and we see that this episode in particular, a lot of things are happening to everyone. We see that even like, I hate to say this, but we're kind of gonna bribe into like the preview at the ending of this episode. You know, TK's doing his own thing, and it's gonna be like a very traumatic experience for TK. Paul seems like he's gotten separated and hurt in this episode. Marjan ran off the side of the road, and oh my, I don't know what to think. I don't think they'll kill anybody, but it's playing with my heart. Bad enough they already separated everybody, and I'm not loving that. But now they put me in these predicaments where something may be wrong with some of our core members, and I'm not liking it. Um, Overall, man, like the episode, like I said, like with the big chill and the over the top, there's a lot of cases going on this episode. We have the cases where the people are trying to save the turtles, and they find a little boy under the ice. That also leads to like the whole TK situation. Like this is a lot of stuff is going into this, man. I didn't like the fact that we didn't get 911 Lone Star when we got the new season for 911, but I'm okay with waiting, and now we're getting greatness in that time span. I didn't like it that they didn't start together, but now we're getting some greatness now that it's doing its own thing at the beginning of the year, and I'm in love with it already from the very first episode. We got the case where the dude head almost gets chopped off, which, to be fair, kind of might have been his fault. You shouldn't be skiing in the middle of the road. And, then the ice just kind of comes off the top of the truck and just like almost decapitates him. Kind of felt sorry for him, but like kind of his fault at the same time. And I like the way that they actually saved him in the ambulance, bringing down the temperature because his blood started to heat up and that started to thaw the ice and it almost risked his life. But Captain Vega had the wonderful idea of packing it with snow and everything to kind of bring the temperature of the blood and everything down to keep him alive long enough to get him to the hospital. And at the end of the day, they ended up saving him, which was cool. It's just that, like, dude, they are doing big things with this big chill, man. And right off rip, the episode just came in strong. There's not much I can really talk about because everything is kind of just sprawled out and we won't really get like a full resolution until probably next week's episode. Maybe they'll do 2 episodes. I'm not totally sure. But like next week's episode will kind of be like the resolution probably, and it may lead into a 3rd episode to kind of wrap everything up, because I know that's how they normally do it with the series. You get 3 episodes most of the time in the beginning of the series, and it kind of just gives you that whole feeling of there's some circumstances and consequences to dealing with this huge disaster that's taking place. So we'll probably get like 3 episodes until everything is kind of completely finished. But as of right now, it's just nice to have it back. We kind of get an inkling as to what everybody is doing, how everyone feels about the 126 being separated. We see Grace is like super far along. She's like ready to pop any minute. Judd is ecstatic. He's talking about Frozen throughout this. So it was just a nice feel because I know I missed 911 Lone Star while watching 911. I loved it. You guys know I love 911, but we had them simultaneously last season, and this season they kind of split them up. But I'm just so happy that it's back, man. Oh, it feels so good. I don't like that they're separated, but it feels good to be back together with the gang. And I just feel like 911 Lone Star brings something different to the table. To the table that the original doesn't, and it gives just a little bit more comedy to me. That I feel like they don't try to do that, but they just kind of just throw it in there to give it to the audience as well, and it feels nice. And this episode came hardcore right off the jump, man, because the big chill is not playing, and we see that Billy is up to his old tricks yet again, because he bailed Marjan out of jail to give her the information, like, well, Owen can come back anytime that he wants. He just has to sign this paper that he's sincerely sorry. Now, the only thing I don't like about that is we know that Billy always has an angle, but Marjan feels like Owen should sign the paper. She thinks that it's his pride getting in the way. And then when she confronts him, Owen tells her that, he's just had enough. He's tired of being the good guy and, getting here and getting his brow beat and not making any strides just by being the good guy. So he's a little bit fed up with it. But I don't feel like it's a pride thing. I feel more of it's the principle. Not even the fact that, he's not sorry. It's just the principle of that I have to apologize to him because he's constantly doing conniving things. But like I said from the jump, I never trusted Billy. The one time Billy came through was when the whole fire thing took place. And immediately after that fact, he took advantage of it. So we can't trust Billy at all. But that's neither here nor there because you have to take everything with Billy with a grain of salt, man. But I am super excited that it's back. I love 911 Lone Star. I love 911, but like I always say, man, 911 Lone Star just hits just a little bit different. And I want to know what's going on with TK and Carlos. I mean, because we see that like they just aren't feeling each other, and they broke up. But I just really want to know what's going on, man. This is your boy Dick Incredible, man. Don't forget to smash the like button. You can smash any more. Comment down below, and I'll be sure to respond to each and every one of them and subscribe, but only if you really want to, man. Peace out.
I cannot complain because today, I'm doing my